A servant. What is a servant? A servant in Psalm 123 is this. In verse 2 it says, "For as the eyes of a servant are upon his master to do his bidding, and as the eyes of a maid are upon their mistress, so my eyes are upon the Lord until he is gracious to me." Have you ever been to a restaurant? Nice restaurant? And you're seated there, and you have all the waiters around. You see the waiters are looking to the captain, the head waiter. They're looking for directions. And if you're a customer, you go there and you say, "I need something." And the captain steps up to see what you need. And immediately every waiter is on his eyes to figure out, what does he want me to do? That's the servant. And as a believer, your eyes and my eyes are upon the Lord whom we serve. And what we have to do is we're to understand by the Holy Spirit, what is it the Lord wants me to do every day? What is it the Lord wants me to do every week? You see, just as a servant is trained to follow what the Lord's instructions are, you and I are trained to follow what Jesus wants us to do. And when we follow and we become a true servant of God, God begins to speak to us, and He begins to do marvelous things through our lives when we make Jesus our servant. And it's the first thing I want to say, and I want to hammer these 2 points out. A servant is available to minister for Jesus. He's here. You and I are here to minister for Jesus. Do you remember the wedding feast at Cana? Do you remember when the wine ran out at the wedding feast? And the servants went, Jesus went to the servants, and Jesus said to the servants, "Now listen, fill up the water pots, 6 of them. 6 is the number of man." So they fill the water pots with water. Now I want to ask you something. When Jesus did that miracle, and by the way, please understand this, the wine is not alcohol. Did you get that? Strong drink is forbidden in the Bible. When they had so what was the wine? It was either the fruit of the vine in Luke 22 that Jesus said, "I will share with you at the kingdom," which is what we celebrate when we celebrate the Lord's Supper. We break bread and we have the fruit of the vine. Remember? Jesus said, "I will have that with you in the coming kingdom." That fruit of the vine speaks of joy that the Messiah will give us in the coming kingdom. Joy. And so whenever they would store wine, and if the wine ever get fermented, to prevent that happening, they would mix the wine, 10 parts of water to 1 part of wine. So it would be a little bit like grape juice. Alcohol destroys lives. Alcohol destroys homes. Alcohol provides a terrible example for children. Why do I need, when I will become a believer, why do I need alcohol? I don't need alcohol. But I love what Jesus did. He recognized this couple was in trouble, and so He multiplied the grape juice, if you would. He multiplied the unfermented wine. And I love what it says. It says the head waiter didn't know what was happening, and when the servants took it to him, he tasted it and says, "Wow, this is great stuff. This is wonderful." And he goes to the bridegroom and says, "You know, everybody serves the poor quality first, and then gives us the good quality. How come you kept the best for the last?" And I get something out of that. I get something out of that. Jesus always keeps the best for the last in our lives. You see, the devil dangles and tries to tell young people, "Hey, take this, take drugs, take alcohol, take sex out of marriage. Do all these things. Come on, this is going to make you happy. I'm going to give you the best the world can offer." And then when they've tasted it and they've had it, then they become crazy, and then they ruin their lives, and at 40 years old they've broken their homes and they've broken their lives, and then the devil laughs in their face and he gives them the worst that's coming. You understand what I'm talking about tonight? But Jesus doesn't do that. Jesus says, "I'm going to give you the best first, and it's going to get better and better and better and better as your days go by." The best is yet to come, friends, as we follow Christ. Now listen carefully. Who saw that miracle? The head waiter did. The bridegroom had not an idea how that wine turned out. You see, the guys who saw the miracle were the simple servants that did all the hard work of pouring the water. And I've got a point to make. Who sees God's miracles? It's His servants. Unless you are available to minister for God, you don't get the thrill of watching Him do miracles.